Our house is a big demonic house. Our house is a hellish landscape where Julia and Larry go to live after it has been abandoned for 10 years. And Larry wants his daughter Kirsty to come too, but she doesn't come yet. It turns out that Julia has a secret involving this demonic house, our house. This great big demonic house, our house, where it turns out that Frank made a deal and had a puzzle box called a lament configuration where he has heaven and hell, the pleasures of both to experience. But he gets trapped in the house, in the hellish house, our house, under the hellish house, where he escapes from hell, from the Cenobites, including Pinhead, and a weird woman with a hole in her throat. And he has to reform, says Julia, will you please help me kill some stupid motherfuckers in this house, this great demonic house, so I can reform my body and we can escape to eternity before the Cenobites get to our house. I'm John Renton with the retro review of Hellraiser for 1987, written and directed by horror icon Clive Barker. Clive Barker was a much better writer than he was a director. I'm going to say that right now. Let me know your thoughts on this movie in the comments, please. Yes, the iconic Pinhead and the iconic Cenobites. And also the fact this is the first of 10 fucking movies they made over 31 years. And I decided to rewatch this due to the fact that Hulu is releasing a remake with a gender-swapped Pinhead. The woman's fucking gorgeous, by the way, so it's going to be very distracting and very arousing and whatever. Nevertheless, this movie has great gothic horror elements and great body horror elements. It also has some of the most monumentally stupid motherfucking characters ever in the existence of horror movies. Ever. Fucking goddamn Christ. There are so many characters that are really fucking dumb. And the acting, I gotta say this. Yes, the movie has a cult following. Pinhead, played by Doug Bradley. Very iconic. In fact, until recently, he was playing Pinhead. This movie is not that good if you decide to dissect it at all. Outside of the gothic horror elements and the body horror elements and the lore of it, I guess. This movie has terrible acting and the camera work in particular. I don't know why this bothers me after not watching it for so many years, but the camera is like 500% too close to everybody's fucking face. Now, yes, you're supposed to get in and get the horror and the horrifying looks of everybody, but god damn it. Man, the camera work was jarring. Clive Barker also ended up directing Nightbreed, which is something I also need to retro review at some point, and Lord of Illusions, which I don't plan to retro review. Andrew Robinson. Here's to you, Andrew Robinson. You're playing Larry, don't you know? And you're going to meet an unfortunate, and because Mr. Robinson, I don't know what song I'm trying to do right there. I was doing a terrible rendition of Mrs. Robinson. So, Larry's in this. Andrew Robinson playing Larry. Good old Larry. And then, not Leisure Suit Larry. He did not wear a suit in this. He wasn't even the creepiest thing in this. I mean, Larry, not Leisure Suit Larry. That'd be weird if he was in this. Julia, played by Claire Higgins, who's a tremendous character actor. And also, Kirsty, played by Ashley Lawrence. Look her up now. She looks fucking incredible, and she's 56. And then Sean Chapman, you got a fast car. I've got to get the hell out of here before the Cenobites come and they take me away. And please, you've got a fast car. Okay, no, enough of that. Enough song references. He plays Frank, who has to be one of the dirtiest, scuzziest characters in 80s horror. He has to be up there. And, of course, Doug Bradley playing the iconic Pinhead, aka Dead Cenobite. The funniest thing about Pinhead being on the poster is I think he's in the movie for maybe 10 minutes. And I think 10 might even be generous. He does not show up for a while. That could have been down to being subtle with the horror or the fact that the funding didn't kick in for a while. What's in the box? Damn it, Brad Pitt, why are you here doing that line? 7 doesn't come out for another 8 years. Had this come out in 88, it would have been 7 years and it would have been so much better. 35 years ago, and 2 days, this movie launched in theaters and a franchise was born. A franchise that essentially fell to goddamn shit after number 3. It really fell to shit after number 5. It was number 4 or number 5 that was so bad that they decided to just make them all direct to video after that. The last one came out in 2018. If you're shocked by that, don't worry, everybody else is. So, Julia and Larry, they're husband and wife, but Julia is not Kirsty's mother. And they decide to go into this old house that has a lot of memories. And Julia's like, yeah, we can live here. We can live here. We can totally live here. And then she has weird flashbacks. The dream sequences. It was like if Nightmare on Elm Street's Dream Warriors had 200% more dreams, if all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies were just dream sequences. Because 30% of this fucking thing was dream sequences or people with big hair acting weird. So anyway, nevertheless, Julia and Larry are moving stuff in. Julia's kind of all weird because it turns out, oh yeah, she had an affair with Frank, who practically was as abusive as fuck. Look, go back and look at these flashbacks. If you've seen this movie, he is so fucking abusive. Not to say that she's necessarily the greatest either, because she cheated on her fucking husband. With his brother, by the way. But goddamn, Julia gets abused by men a whole lot and decides to turn to killing, because why not? And she decides to help Frank out when it turns out, oh yeah, Frank ends up coming back from hell. And why? Because he messed with the puzzle box and the Cenobites got him. Here's an idea. Don't mess with a fucking Cenobite box. Don't mess with don't mess with a woman's box too much, or otherwise it may open and consume you. I learned that the hard way. I will be taking no further questions on this. So, in the beginning, there was rap, as Dr. Dre once said, and Frank Cotton gets the box, gives this person a whole stack of money, those old bills from the 80s, my God. The Lament Configuration. I mean, I'm certain there's another name for it, but the Lament Configuration. Sounds like a weird software for 80s computers. Maybe messing with the box that you don't know anything about wasn't the best idea. But, you know, whatever. What the fuck do I know? Maybe you should have listened to the fucking merchant, or I don't know, not bought the fucking box at all. There are very few things explained in this movie. I mean, yes, they explain the stuff in subsequent sequels and then retroactively go back in on their own ass with some things and then try to rehash, retwist, and tweak little things. And who doesn't love tweaking Cenobites? I know I do. So, the Cenobites, you know, mess with him and hooked him. If you were a non-wrestling fan, you were confused as to why I said hook. So, 10 years later, this house was just messed up. Rotted stuff there. What the hell's going on? Were there squatters? What's happening? Oh, hi, Pinhead. It's religious stuff all over the goddamn house. Julia is just, god damn it, she's just insane. Absolutely insane. Because again, she cheated on her husband with his brother. Kirsty shows up. And then, at one point, while Larry's helping move a mattress, there's this nail sticking out that, literally, if you take a look at the shot, they compose the shot really goddamn badly. The needle was at least 2 feet from his goddamn hand. At least 2 feet. But he leans into it because he's got to. The red blood, I think Clive Barker took inspiration from the Italian horror industry. And made it, didn't make it quite that red, but made it pretty red. So, he's bleeding and he's freaking out and running into the attic area. That's all rot. Look at the door. The door's fucking rotted. It's insane. How did nobody think to, oh, I don't know, before they moved in, gut this house, maybe refurbish it, maybe spray it for mold, maybe burn it to the ground and build the poltergeist house? That would have been just as safe. So, anyway, the blood falls on the floor and gets absorbed. Self-absorbing floorboards. Leaves only the fresh scent of typo negative. Summer breeze makes me feel fine. God, such a weird rendition of that song. Great movie. I Know What You Did Last Summer. So, Frank comes back. He forms his brain. There was some cool stop motion body horror stuff. I will say that. Help me, Spock. Help me. Oh, sorry. Help me, Julia. Help me. You have to heal me. Why? Because he was stupid enough to play with a box and Julia's an idiot. The explanations for this movie are just fucking insane. So, not Julia, but Kirsty has a nightmare. Goes to visit her dad. She has a good relationship with her dad, despite the fact that her dad basically is an afro, or a weird, stupid mop top afro attempt with, a jutted out face. Seriously, if his forehead jutted out any goddamn more, he would have broke the camera lens. Andrew Robinson, by the way, poor guy, but, he didn't deserve that, but I had to say it. Julia brings a drunk guy back, and then Frank kills him. And basically she brings back more people. Don't look at me, don't look at me. That's terrible. You really shouldn't do that to the person you love. Even if you're a deformed body trying to reform by consuming the blood of the living. Or recently passed. And Julia basically is just completely batshit insane. And we need, once I become whole, we can run away before the Cenobites get us. No questions about who the fuck the Cenobites are. Just, okay, honey, I'll run away with you. The fuck? The fuck? So anyway, she ends up bringing more people back. Kirsty starts to suspect things. Also has a boyfriend that, I don't even remember the fucker's name, and I don't really fucking care, because none of the characters really fucking matter in this. There's a homeless guy that consumes a bunch of crickets, that's kicked out of this pet store that she's working at. That is the only time we see her working at the goddamn store. We have to assume either it got set on fire, or she got fired, or the lady with the goddamn parakeet got upset, or the canary. I think it was a canary. Maybe she was, Clive Barker's attempt to mock the old woman from the Looney Tunes cartoon, Grandma. Yeah, I think that was it. I think that was her name. So, Julia, basically at first doesn't want to kill Larry, because she does love Larry, she says, but she also doesn't want to kill him. And Frank wants to kill him because he's got this knife, and then Frank ends up torturing Julia at one point. When Julia finds that he tortures Julia basically by making her kill people, and he tortures Kirsty, who, by the way, is blood related. And he says, "Oh, you've grown up. You're so beautiful." Great, good. It's me, Uncle Frank. Great. Okay, so Uncle Frank can piss the fuck off right now, because having somebody kill people for you and consuming their blood is one thing, but I draw the line at incest. No. I have standards, however fucking low they are. And then she steals the puzzle box, by the way, and throws it out the window, and then grabs it and runs, but then then is all freaked out and by seeing her rotted Uncle Frank hit on her. To be fair, if you saw how the guy actually looked, the guy was disgusting looking. Anyway, and she's in the hospital. Then she plays with the puzzle box, opens a hole in the wall where demonic earthworm Jim is there. That's the only real way I can explain it. He's not catching puppies, he's eating them and then throwing this stuff around. If you've never played Earthworm Jim and have no idea what that is, you have no idea what I'm talking about. Enter the Cenobites. The box you opened it, you summoned us. There's some lady with a hole in her throat. There's somebody that kind of looks like Louis Anderson if he lost weight. And then there's also the guy that kind of, let's see, there's the one with the weird, he reminds me of, what the fuck was that Buffy episode where it was the weird smiling guys? Silence? The Silence? No, The Silence was a Netflix movie. It has something to do with Silence. The guys that took away the voices and then killed people and just floated around. And it was the scariest fucking episode of Buffy by far until the musical episode. That was scary for a different reason. You opened it, you summoned us. We are demons to some, angels to others. Doug Bradley chewed the goddamn scenery here. Pinhead does his monologue, and Kirsty says, "Wait a second, you know Frank Cotton, he escaped you? Nobody escapes us. But say he did, how can we believe you? Being that we are such believable characters ourselves. We have such sizable leaps in logic, you could drive buses through them. If you cheat us, we will tear your soul apart." So anyway, Larry ends up dead. Frank kills him and steals his skin and puts the skin over. Now mind you, this is notable because there's gel and blood and everything around the face and the skin. because Frank needed to heal and also escape the Cenobite. So Julia still is not asked about. And if she did, it was very fleeting, because Julia is not exactly the smartest goddamn character. So, Kirsty goes there, hugs her dad. No, we need to go up there. I need to see him. I need to see this person. Okay. Not noticing the blood and the gel and everything around her father's face, because it's her uncle. Because everybody is stupid in this. But, goes upstairs, gets locked up there, and then the Cenobites show up. We want the man who did this. Oh, God. So boisterous. So dramatic. And then in a skirmish, he accidentally kills Julia to basically reform the rest of his body. Completely reform himself. And then he tries to kill Kirsty. Leads him up to the room. He doesn't realize that the Cenobites are there to get him. Yeah, we can escape them. I don't realize that the Cenobites are all up in this attic that I just escaped. We probably should go out the house. Because nobody would believe Julia, but we need to do this because plot conveniences. And then they get him chained up and all that. And this is after, like, he tortures Kirsty, and I'm thinking, Cenobites, you want to jump in here at any point. They torture him. This is not for your eyes. God, Doug Bradley deserved fucking Oscars for this. Oscars, multiple Oscars. Give him all the Oscars for the overacting. And then then he explodes after saying, Jesus wept. Frank did, by the way. And so her dad's dead. Julia's dead. Nobody else is there. The Poltergeist house would probably be safer. The Amityville house probably would have been safer by this point. I think the Donner Party had more successful trips than this. And then the one with the hole in her throat, leaving us so soon, are you? I'm going to make the house bleed with my hook. Ha ha ha. And then she finally messes with the puzzle box enough to send everybody to hell. Pinhead goes first. You send Pinhead, the only one that's iconic, to the fucking portals of hell. No, don't do that. We're demonic beasts from hell, but we have feelings too. God, Clive Barker, what the fuck? I'm sorry, I don't know why that made me laugh so much. But before that, we have such sights to show you. Don't do that. What are you doing? We've been nice to you. We didn't save your dad, but whatever. Then she sent Pinhead back. And Louis Anderson with the lost weight. The lady with a hole in her throat. So now a woman that has 4 holes. That's my dream woman. This is going to guarantee no women will ever watch my reviews again. And then sends the weird, smiley, Buffy villain character back. And then demonic earthworm Jim shows up and she sends him back and then throws the puzzle box into the fire. And then the weird homeless guy that ate the crickets in one scene shows up. And I mean, he was in like one brief scene keeping an eye on her and the boyfriend. Because it turns out he actually is also a demon from hell. Or something, because he grabs the puzzle box and he burns alive, but then he sheds his skin, and then it turns out he's some weird gargoyle-y creature that just flies away with the puzzle box. Clive Barker's Hellraiser, ladies and gentlemen. No, don't do that! It's entertaining, I'll say that much. Didn't need 10 fucking movies out of this franchise. Anyway, let's see how the other one goes. God, I hope the acting is so, over the top like this. Agree, disagree with what I said, like, share, subscribe, Twitter handle in the description. I'm John Ritland, and if you didn't enjoy this review, I'll tear your soul apart. See you soon.